It is now 4:01 to call to order the meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners for Kingston here on March 10th. Bills have been signed, and we have meeting minutes from February 10th to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February 10th, 2026 as printed.
Seconded and so voted. So those are all set. First appointment is Kristen Berger from Resilient. What you got for us, Kristen?
Okay, so we'll go through the items in the agenda. So the first item's the engineering updates. Only item I have there is the South Street well cleaning bid documents. I sent those to Chris. I think he was going to forward those to Townhouse to just get their blessing to be able to put that out to bid. Given the time of year it is right now, mid-March, it's work that would physically happen in the fall, but it's good to get that out to bid as soon as possible to get on the schedule for the companies that do the well cleaning. They're all very busy right now, so the sooner we can get that on their radar, the better. The other items I have are the updates. Yep, sure.
Sorry, Kristen, I didn't have that on the agenda, but did we get that? I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, we started discussing that because the pumpage is down on that, and it's due up on its cycle for routine maintenance of cleaning.
Oh, okay, so what, did we? I haven't seen the email. Excuse me.
I can send it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Kristen.
So the new well update, Chris and I met with Kleinfelder this afternoon just to do what can be done while we're waiting for the site to clear of snow. As you're aware, there was, some additional test well work that needs to be done out there, but the site needs to be accessible. At this point, Chris said that there's still about 18 inches of snow out there, so it's not drivable to get into the site quite yet. But hopefully the warm weather will continue to at least be above freezing, where we'll get ongoing melting. We won't have days like this for a little bit, but above freezing is beneficial melting temperatures. So while we're waiting for that, the field work to be able to progress, they are continuing to work on the conceptual design of the actual pump station and site. So they showed us a couple of concepts this afternoon. Chris and I gave them some input, so they'll be able to do some updates to those, and we'll keep that moving forward to keep that project going. The other things about that project, the draft SRF intended use plan was released, and the project did not make the cut for funding. It was pretty down, like fourth from the bottom, probably. And the reason for that is because the projects that rate higher are the ones that have MCL violations. So something that's a water quality focused versus quantity of water. So that just the way that they do the point systems, that's the way it works out.
Yeah. Makes sense. It's too bad that we don't qualify, but that makes sense. If I was a community that had a contaminated well and a community that didn't have a contaminated well got that, I'd be annoyed.
Yep. Too bad.
Yes, yeah, it was. The other thing that popped up on my reminders was we talked last year about the one-stop application program. That's something that we'd want to work with the planning department about, because those one-stop grant applications, for example, like the MassWorks one, which you participated in one of those a few years ago with that water main extension to the high zone. That was a MassWorks funded thing that went through the town. It wasn't just a water department project. So that grant period is usually open from early May through early June. So we talked last year about this time of year touching base with planning to talk about opportunities. with that one-stop grant program, if there's a potential to have a private partner, those projects rate higher. So something that has housing, affordable housing component to it, and then the project could be assembled so that it was, something to do with the well. And that program does fund both design and construction. But we'd need to be able to say the well is needed to be able to further this development project that has affordable housing, something like that. I'm not an expert with the right terminology that needs to go into a grant for that because it has to do with the economic development aspect. That's why if we work together with planning, we might be able to come up with a good application for that program.
Is the development that's going up near Copper Beach, is that something that might fit in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's where it's water supply for the whole town, really. The well being where it is can bleed into the low zone. So really, it doesn't need to be proximate to the project site like the water main project did, because it, was directly related. Well, that, this water main, this development right there. But with the well project, the water can go anywhere on town. It's not just, well, you're close to that well, so that's the water that you get. It doesn't work like that. It's overall, it's an overall need of the town. So we could relate really any, it would need to be a decent size. I don't know how many units it would have to have, but a decent sized project to be able to link, or multiple projects to link to it.
That's kind of why I brought it up, because if that development is going to be substantially affordable housing,
Yep.
I'm wondering if we do the math, if that qualifies us.
The question is it going to be affordable housing? Substantially affordable housing, not just meeting the minimum bylaws as required by the town.
I think it's 40B, right?
So would that be, who would approach then planning? Would we do that? Would Chris, or would you? How would we, pursue that further?
Well, probably one of you approaching Valerie would be the best. I mean, she's met me before, but knowing, it would have a little bit more emphasis if it's coming from the water department. And I'm available to help draft up the language that's the technical side of things. It's just, we need someone that can help with the correct language for the economic development side. And it could be that the developer, depending on what their experience has been, they might already have experience with the MassWorks program and be able to say, oh yeah, we have someone that can help draft up that language for that.
As long as you have like a list of questions or talking points that we can have Valerie address and show how we can meet these criteria, I think it would be easy enough for one of us. I'd be willing to go and meet with her at some point in time after school sometime and kind of get that info. What's the timeline we need for that submission?
It's an open period from usually early May to early June. So you have about 1 month to get the information into the one-stop program. We'd want to have it's a pretty sizable package that needs to go in. So especially where there's some brainstorming, there's going to need to be some reviews. So I don't want to wait until May to start this process. But we have a little time here now to work with her over the next couple of weeks to figure out who are the right parties to involve in this, and what information do we need to collect.
Yeah, so if you can share kind of the talking point list there, or I don't know, would you want to come with, or just have one of us go there with your guidance?
Yeah, why don't one of you go in to kick things off, and then we can schedule a meeting. That would be more of like a brainstorming session.
All right, send me a list of the things I want to bring up with her or whatever and talk about, and then I'll arrange to meet with her in the next week or two, and then we can kind of go from there.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Okay, any questions on the well project?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so moving on to the next item, the AWWA M36 audit grant was awarded by Mass DEP. So that's great news. They selected Kingston to be involved in that process. This is a program where DEP hires the consultant to do the work. So they've gone through that selection process and this year awarded that contract to Ty and Bond. So she said that they will be reaching out to Chris, and I don't know if they already have Chris. This is an email that Jen Durso sent February 11th. So hopefully they'll reach out to you soon.
Right.
But that's a good thing. That's, that leads right into the next item too, but also the consent order. That's one of the action items that DEP had required.
Kristen, Stacy had a comment for you.
Is that completely 100% grant paid? Or is that something that we put money up for and then we get reimbursed?
No, it's funded by DEP, so you won't see any invoices on that at all.
Okay, perfect.
And that was supposed to be done by June 30th this year. And that's going to be, that's the one that we have to get extension on anyways, or we already have an extension?
Well, the consent order hasn't actually been finalized.
Okay.
It's not fully signed yet. So I think any of these dates, if they come up and the consent order is not finalized, we can just tell them, look, we're working on this. Here's our status is, but clearly we haven't met the schedule yet. But it's not something that they can do anything about right now because it's not final.
Okay.
So I think we were waiting to hear back from town council originally on who needed to sign it, and then it went up to the select board. Seemed to be that's what the town council said the select board should sign it. And then I don't know, Stacy, do you know where it stands now?
Well, it had been sent up to I think to George, the interim town administrator, and then when they transitioned to Scott, I don't know that Scott was kept up to date with that, so he's just recently been resent it this week, right?
Yes.
So Chris was speaking to him today. He can fill more in on that.
Scott didn't seem to have any concerns. He just wanted to present it to the Board of Selectmen, just so that they had it. I think it was more the town council wanted them just to be aware of everything that's there in the conditions, but it would still be signed and enacted by the water department. In talking to the EP when we were reviewing that ACO, the deadlines that they were giving weren't hard deadlines per Jim McLaughlin. They were, as long as we were working towards achieving those deadlines,
Okay.
they wouldn't be penalties.
And show evidence for it too. Make
Yeah,
sure we,
as long as a good faith effort, they were
Yep.
working to achieve those. They understand that unforeseen things come up and delays happen and schedules get busy. But it wasn't going to be a penalty handed down if you weren't done. They're not hard deadlines, as Jim McLaughlin.
Yeah, one of the deadlines for the water audit, this grant program, when they released the request for interest that we responded to, they were saying that they were going to have a consultant ready to go it might have been the end of the year or early January. So they're behind in their selection of a consultant and giving them notice to proceed. So I think it would be difficult for them to expect that all of these water audits that they've committed to preparing, I didn't count how many, but having someone get all those done by January 30th seems unlikely. They might be able to say, okay, we have a draft for them, but we need a couple more months to finalize them. And, that's on DEP. The other item that we wanted to keep moving forward was the water conservation. There's a couple of items that need to be addressed there. they were looking for a written report documenting efforts to implement and enforce water use restrictions, actions taken, water use trends, status of conservation programs, with copies of notices. They want that done each year and attached to the annual statistical report. Those annual statistical reports are due April 10th. So, Chris, to help out with that written document, I just need from you the pumpage that you had last year.
The total pumpage from last year?
Yes. So then I'll be able to update the water use trends that they want attached to that.
For 2025 total pumpage.
Yep, and I need the report from 2024.
Total pumpage from 24?
But I need it by like broken down by month, kind of like the information that you pulled together for the ASR.
Yep, I'm working on that now, so I have all that information available.
Okay. So I'll be able to get you something that you'll be able to review and can attach to that annual statistical report. So even though the consent order is not final, you can say we're doing our best to comply with the requirements that they asked for.
Yes.
Regarding the water conservation, you had looked at that draft regulation or bylaw at the last time we met last month. Since then, Stacy's been trying to get some further guidance on if that needed to be, or if that could be just a rule and regulation, or if it needed to be a bylaw, and get that answer from town council. Got kind of different answers between, I think, Matt and Jay. But Jay's latest seemed to imply it could be a rule and reg that gets voted on by the select board, and we don't really understand why it couldn't be done by the Board of Water Commissioners if it's a rule and reg, versus if it's a bylaw, it needs to be by the town at a town meeting vote because it's a bylaw. So it's still, if it could be just a regulation that gets voted on, whether it's voted on by Board of Water Commissioners or a Board of Selectmen, that seems fine. He didn't say the DEP language would prohibit that. But again, not clear.
Yeah, if we start out with just the board voting in that in, and also they want more, they want the selectmen, we can always take it up to that next level and just kind of respond to their any issues they have. But I think the path of least resistance is probably the best way to go, and then wait for someone to complain. I don't know.
When I spoke to the town administrator today, he was going to reach out to town council and try to get some more clarity on that. The added twist with this whole ACO is Matt Provincia, the attorney from town council we're dealing with, has left the firm. Mm-hmm. So now Jay Taylorman is trying to step in and pick up all the pieces and pick up where Matt left off. So our number one liaison with town council that had intimate knowledge of everything we had going on here. Yeah, he's no longer with the firm. So it kind of takes us a couple steps back as they try and go through things and pick up the pieces.
Well, regardless, we're going to have to approve something ourselves to give recommendation to the select board to approve, which then would have to go to the town meeting to approve. So if we do that first step, at least, then we're kind of on the way. And
that's a bylaw. If it's a bylaw, it has to go to
doing it as bylaw?
Well, just as the rule and reg first, and then if we end up having to do bylaws, at least we've already discussed it and voted on it, and we've approved this. Here, can the select board approve it?
The rest of according to Jay, he didn't read that the ACO required a bylaw.
Yeah.
But he also said that from how he's reading it, an act that created the Board of Water Commissioners, that the Board of Selectmen would have to approve any rules and regs for the water department, and that's never been done. So I don't know why.
Sounds like a formality, though. I mean, they're going to take our.
When the water department was created, were the selectmen the water commissioners? That could be.
No, this was the Act of 1885, and I had sent the act both to Matt and to Jay, so they both had different opinions of what they read.
Well, if they mean, does asking them to approve it or rubber stamp our approval cause any issues? I mean, does it? In the future?
My opinion is, I think, we need to get to Jay and have Jay basically say, the Board of Water Commissioners as designees, as appointed, have the right to do that without going to the selectmen, because that becomes, fundamental to a whole bunch of things that we do without requiring the selectmen's approval.
Or
And
input or anything.
It's something to jam up their meetings, because we're talking about a lot of things that we do here. If they've got to approve all of them, and if they got to approve them of every other department in town, they're gonna have time to do any other stuff.
I don't know. I really think it's something that Scott should probably clear up with Jay.
Right.
He was gonna work on that this week.
All right.
Okay.
So we start with our own rule and reg, do what we want past that as we see
Yeah.
fit, and then let
Do what we
the-
have to after that.
Yeah, all right.
I think it's important that Chris basically talk to Scott and try and emphasize how we feel that it's vitally important from the historical perspective on the way the department was created. And that we have historically, set rules and regulations without, approval of the selectmen, and we don't see any need to, further confuse, everybody by
Tie up their
changing that
schedule.
at this point.
That was kind of the base of the conversation I had with Scott today after the department head meeting, that historically, it's never been the board of selectmen that enacted any changes or modifications to the rules and regulations.
And as the town authority, could they step in if they wanted to? Probably.
Don't even go there.
I don't know.
Okay, I don't.
Don't go there.
All right. Who knows?
My opinion.
Hypotheticals. We can leave it for later. All right.
Well, so what are you gonna write for this? Because this is gonna be part of the ACO, so while we wait signatures for the ACO, you do need to have some type of.
Yeah.
I would think that we would basically say we're still in discussion with town council on who has the authority to implement rules and regulations versus bylaws. Not that we're pushing down the road, we're just trying to get the legal clarification on the responsibility.
So she's talking more about the actual nuts and bolts of our bylaw or rule and reg?
I mean, if you're talking about a rule and, if you say you're gonna start with a rule and reg and wait for pushback to go higher or whatever, you still need something, you need a draft of something.
Yeah. So is this where, when we look at Groton and Ipswich, what they have, but they have bylaws, right? That's what we're looking at here. But we want to have some sort of wording in a more of a rule and reg format is the goal.
So you had drafted up something really basic prior to sending out these. How did you?
Yeah, we did. I drafted up something based on the DEP template. There were some things in there that you guys questioned at the last time we met. So I think you were just going to read it, mark it up individually, just with the items that were troubling to you, so that we could customize it. I sent the water conservation regulations for Groton and Ipswich at the request of wanting to see something from communities that, have to take things a step further because their own water shortages. So, for example, like up in those two communities usually get to the point where they have to have a complete ban on outdoor water use every summer because of their water supply needs. It's not necessarily that they were forced to do that by DEP. It's just because they physically have, water supply shortages. So some of those also don't allow any sprinklers, similar to, you don't like to see irrigation systems, things like that. So
We have some Groton stuff here. I don't know the template. Do we have that somewhere?
I think that's what Kristen might have kind of wrapped it up based off of some of the other stuff in the DEP.
This is all one thing here. Okay.
Yeah, we have Susan Groton.
Do we need to get a copy of this each and take this with us?
Yeah, didn't you guys say, I thought.
I don't remember
guys
seeing
took
it
from
I
I think I had a
Was
copy
the
of
last
that.
meeting? Because I wasn't here.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
think that's the document there.
I want to take a look at that then, because I saw some things in Ipswich and Groton that looked good, and also some things I
I think
One.
anything we do, we need to reference a rule and regulation and eliminate the word bylaw.
Well, I've got the
At this
DEP
point.
one right here, I think.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
That is-
Yes, I think so.
the town administrator said that a rule and reg can be voted on by Board of Water Commissioners or Board of Selectmen. Bylaw has to be approved by Board of Selectmen and go to town
Yep.
meeting for.
Yeah.
That would be true. I would agree with that.
As it should be.
That is right.
But I think that.
That's why we want to keep it a rule and reg.
Kristen, would you be able
Yeah.
to bring some clarity that the two samples that you provided, those are primarily surface water?
No, Groton's groundwater community,
Okay.
and Ipswich has both surface water and groundwater.
Okay,
So I think for this topic, I think we need to kind of, I've already looked through these, but I think we need to look at it in light of the template and then just kind of add in what we
I think the
take
template
away.
was used to create the Groton and the Ipswich one. So it'd be their individual
Yeah.
adaptation to what is the boilerplate. So
yeah, the format for the template from DEP
Right.
is strikingly similar to the two samples that were
So
provided.
ours will look like this, only with things that would be
Well,
specific to Kingston.
My only issue is I know in Ipswich, they had the water director or town manager could make a declaration. And I'm thinking that's just,
I would probably
Yeah.
strike that to be the.
Right. So things like that, I wanna make sure-
That declaration.
right. What else in here? The violation stuff, I mean, there's some different violations. What does the template have for the violation fees?
Yeah, that was another question that you'd had at the last meeting about what financial violation, what those were, and
Yeah, I thought Groton's was pretty limited. I mean, but I like Ipswich's from 50, 100 to 300. Warning with the first one, and then 50, 100, and 300 for their
Per
later
day.
ones. Yeah, that to me I thought had a little more.
You could also
Bite
bite
to it.
termination of the water service.
Yeah, and that comes in afterwards there. Yeah. What do you guys think on the penalties? The higher amount that Ipswich has, is that you guys approve of as well, or less? It's daily, you said,
That's a
right?
tough one.
It's a daily charge.
If it's daily, then that's a little,
I think
$100
if you
a
start
day
out-
max. Or,
Yeah.
Soft and easy, and then you get more coarse and aggressive because you have people that they don't care. They just assume pay the fee and have green grass. But if you hit them hard, it's going to change their perception on it.
well, where does the cutting off where if they?
If you put in there, if it's 5 or more consecutive days or 5 or more $300 violations, water can be terminated at the street.
Mhm. Yeah,
There's
if it's
no,
in-
I just looked in the water emergencies in the town bylaws, there's no fines listed, it just says may impose fines. And Kristen, you wanted to make sure that whatever they did matched, or was at least equal to what was in the town bylaw, correct?
yes.
And it's not specific, it just says that, the Board of Water Commissioners may impose fines for violations.
So that sounds like it's an advantage because now we can pick an amount. We don't have to,
Flexible.
be flexible on picking the amount. I kind of agree with Chris. I think in the beginning, or they might have forgot, second time a fine, third time you come down. You gotta put the hammer down the third time, because third time they're just ignoring you.
Yeah, I mean, people that just they don't care. Now we've got an argument with residents say, hey, you're on the can't water today. It's my lawn. I pay my bill. I'm going to do what I want. And I'm not gonna fight you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's the position you want to take, fine. And then there's 2 go out and shut them off at the street.
Well, I'm still not completely convinced I want to shut it off the street, but the other thing I want to make sure is
It'd be extreme.
that, these don't have to necessarily be consecutive days. If in fact we find a violator that's, turning it off,
That's why I say, if you have 5 or more $300 fines in a given calendar year,
Shut your water off.
we have the they have the potential of having their water shut off.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that we
It's
automatically
always
do
gonna be
it.
the potential because you,
Yeah.
And just to protect Chris and the department, any decisions made to terminate water should be done by the water commissioner,
I totally
as
agree.
well as the implementation of the regulation. If you decide- don't put it on Chris, don't put it on
Right.
whoever the superintendent
It
is.
should always be on the recommendation of the superintendent, but it's our call. So that way
That's correct.
he's just following his orders.
Yep.
Yeah, and there has to be a state of water supply emergency declared first by us before a shut-off can occur.
But
So
the
it's not
thing
like
in
just,
read here indicates that the state does this earlier and earlier. And
Mhm.
by the way, I don't know if you've been reading in the paper, but we're in the middle of a drought, even with
Yeah.
all this going
Well,
on.
the template says just by the water commissioners, doesn't say if there's one declared by the state. Would that be
But-
something
but
to
we
add
would-
to it as well?
We probably wouldn't do that unless the state had declared it.
Yeah.
Okay. All
At
right.
least I see no reason to put my neck on
Yeah,
the line for that.
okay. Be with the state. Yep.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you'll be required to do that by your, well, by the consent order and also the Water Management Act permit. When the state declares a drought level 1, they want to see you enacting that water conservation regulation. So, and it's different from the water supply emergency bylaw.
All right.
Again, looking at the draft one that we have, I think any place, even where it says 2018 DEP model for outdoor water use bylaw or / ordinance, I think, when we develop this, we ought to put the DEP outdoor model use ordinance, sort of eliminate the word bylaw from the text, as well as the authority where this bylaw, section 2 talks about the purpose of the bylaw.
Mhm.
Any place the word bylaw should be rule and regulation or ordinance, something that gives the Board of Water Commissioners the authority to do it without going to town council,
Yeah.
town meeting.
And that basically says that here in their section 5, the town through its Board of Water Commissioners or Selectmen or Water District Commissioners or the designee authorized to act as such. We just make sure it's through its Board of Water Commissioners and leave it at that.
Just the Board of Water Commissioners, again, section 5,
Mhm.
not that I want to eliminate the selectmen, but that should be
Yeah.
the decision of the Board of Water Commissioners, not.
Mhm. Yeah, so besides that part and then adding the fee structure that I think we agree the Ipswich, the sliding scale up to 300 for the fourth and subsequent violations is kind of what we'd want to see. And then we can get that published out.
So Ipswich has the,
Yeah, this just has a 50 for the second, warning for the first, 50 for second, 100 for third, and 300 for fourth and subsequent.
Do you want anything in here that says that the uses, violations will be so noted and by photograph or documentation and not by word of mouth?
Where did they have it here?
I'm not quite sure where it fits, but,
Yeah, you could always come up with a separate standard operating procedure, which
Yeah.
to document what that procedure is.
Yeah. And it has to be documented by a member of the water department, not by photographs of neighbors who may disagree with
Neighbors.
neighbors.
Yeah, I saw that here, the agent, was it here? The enforcement person shall be any police officer or the town or the water superintendent or the superintendent's designee. So do we just keep that in-house, water department, water superintendent or superintendent's designee? That's
Yeah,
on
for-
section 11 in the Ipswich one, right after, or in the penalty section.
yeah, that would be, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's section 13 in the template. It's that same thing. So just strike the police and just keep it the water and superintendent or superintendent's designee. So you have the ability to designate your,
That last part's important. So you can designate any guys that work there.
Any one of the employees.
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Would they
Yeah.
be writing up the actual citations?
No, they would be documenting it via photograph, bringing the documentation back in that would show time and location, and the citation would be done by a very competent office staff.
Mhm.
And hopefully by the time we're into this, we will have 2 full-time employees, not 1.
Alright. Any other sort of exceptions or adoptions we want to add in to the language, or does that pretty much take care of it then? Chris, you have any
The one
input?
issue that I really wanted to make sure we discussed was the fines, and we just did, so
Yeah.
I'm good.
If
That was what they had
Stacy- if
planned.
Stacy can put that together, we can look at it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, good idea.
And,
Look at the draft.
and hopefully we won't have another major snowstorm in between.
I will do my best. I am on vacation next week, so the meeting is right after I get back. So I'll see what I can do between now and tomorrow.
Alright. We're making progress towards it, so that's important.
Kristen, if you think of anything that wasn't mentioned, can you just send me an email about it?
Sure.
All right, great, thank
I
you.
did want to just clarify though that on one of those, I can't remember which one, if it was on one or both of them, it did also include private wells as part of this inclusion. I think we need to strike that from there because that's always been a thing that if you have a private well,
And actually, when I reread it today, I saw that, and I said, no, that's one thing that you'll want to take out.
yeah, that's just a ball of wax that I don't want to get involved in.
Yeah.
Private's private.
And what's gonna happen is if, people are watering their lawn and they have a private well and they haven't notified the town, then it's gonna be on them to prove to the town that in fact it's a private well. We're not gonna take anybody's word for it. It's gonna have to be documented. We're gonna have to figure out how that documentation occurred.
So that
Who
should be
has to-
clarified,
Huh?
that should be clarified in the ruling too. If a
Yeah,
private well is
should-
being used, it must be a declared well with the town.
Right.
We have a form to fill out for that?
If need be, permit the water
No.
department to
Probably need,
come in and document the wellhead.
Mhm.
Just so we can say, yep, you absolutely
Yep.
have a well.
Yeah, well, it should be, I
Or
mean,
draw
I know
out.
my private well is listed with the Board of Health. That's for drinking water though.
Yes. it's
So
not
if
irrigation.
you have irrigation, you don't have to do that?
I don't think so, it's a non-potable well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you had to, if in fact the well was.
Mine's listed with the Board of Health. I actually looked into, I didn't want to look at the information on it. They hadn't.
You had to do it.
It was already recorded,
Um,
so when I moved in.
Wonder if all the ones around the,
Well, that was something I was gonna mention, because I have talked to Joyce in the Board of Health about tracking down people's addresses who
Yep.
have private wells. And some of the records in the Board of Health are not that accurate, so
Hmm.
they do the best that they can with what they
Yeah.
have.
Mine was from
A lot of
93,
times
but-
when I've tried to confirm and they can't.
since it's the Board of Health that keeps the records of private wells. If in fact we come across one that is private, that is not listed, it should be the Board of Health that is required to document that is in fact it's there.
Yeah, and I don't, I'm trying to think if we've asked about irrigation. I don't know if they track irrigation. Although, you know what, I have an irrigation well when I lived on Elm Street, and I know that they have it.
Looking at the template in the definitions, it's in the water users, the last definition is where they have or using privately owned wells within the town's boundaries.
Strike that.
So that's where, well, privately owned wells should be defined, I think. It should be recorded in the town or recorded or privately owned wells shall be, assessed. The wellhead should be able to assess to make sure it's
Listed
a
over
private
the
well.
Board of Health.
There's supposed to be something you can view from the road that says it's a
Mhm.
Private well.
private well.
So that's probably in the definition section that needs to be kind of added in there. Kristen, we probably need some guidance on what that would look like in terms of, does it need to be just a vocabulary word in here at the beginning, or does it have to be in a certain section? Because that could be sticky. I don't know if that.
Yeah, to define what a private well is.
Yeah, can it just be in a definition, or can we have to add it to a section? I think just defining a privately owned well is hereby defined as a well of record that's recorded in the Board of Health or Water Department, and or whatever would mean to make sure it's actually a well exists there.
And not talking about just potable water too.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Not just potable
But
water.
we're not, I thought we weren't enforcing private wells, so why do we
Well,
need to find?
Because if they're watering, we're using private well water, and that's what they say they are, they have to be able to prove that there's a well that's being used for that.
If it's a permitted well for irrigation use, you may have a well permit number from the well driller that will be on file with the Board of Health.
Right.
because what we don't want to happen is employee A goes out and documents, takes a photograph of somebody watering their lawn, and they do it 5 or 6 times, and now we're sending
Citations. out.
citations and fines to these people. If in fact it's a legitimate private well, then they have a right to water their lawn using the private well. What we need to do is find a way to make sure that that well is registered and listed somewhere within town government before we put the onus completely on the Board of Health, where it belongs.
So I guess any documentation I receive from a report of a violation, I'm gonna first need to verify that there's not a private well.
Yeah, I mean, the first one's gonna be a warning, and that can be followed up with a letter saying, please advise us if your irrigation is serviced by a private well.
Yeah.
Right.
And do wells need to be registered with the state or DEP in any way?
It should be registered with the town,
But is it
Town
a
Board
legal
of Health.
requirement right now?
Board of Health.
Board of Health.
Well,
We
for
wanna make
potable
sure that
water.
the Board of Health is aware of this new onus that's gonna be put on them.
But
That
this is where I worry about the accuracy of records kept
Yeah.
by the Board of Health, not through any of their faults, just by age of system.
Yep,
If a private well, a private well for irrigation can be certified by inspection of a water department designee or recorded with the Board of Health, or that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know.
you gotta
This is
be
where it gets
careful.
messy.
You gotta be careful. It's, if the official location, official record, is with the Board of Health, it really needs the Board of Health that's certifying it as being there,
Yeah.
not an employee of the water department, unless the Board of Health agrees with that.
We strike the privately owned stuff for now and hold off on how we handle.
If they
Private
say-
wells in the
if They
future.
say they have a private well, let's
We accept it
validate
for
that,
now, and
and
we
we
can-
put it on the account, and then
Yeah.
moving forward, they're okay.
So-
If we can get a complaint, pull up the account, oh, they're on a private well.
For the purpose of the regs, just strike private owned wells from it, and then we'll deal with the other issues later.
Alright.
Because that just seems like it's just we're getting bogged down. Any other sort of thoughts on that, or we can move on?
Let's move on.
Yeah. Chris.
All right. In the last meter reading cycle, I think leading up to it, it was discovered that we don't have a support program or customer service basis with Core Main for our radio read equipment, whereas in past years we had it with EJ Prescott. Excuse me. We had some issues with the meter reading stuff. They came out and they said that we have to take and get a service plan with them for that customer service.
Get a price on it, please?
Yeah, it's in your package.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for it. Yeah.
Oh,
$3,700.
319.
Yeah, the yellow.
Yeah, it does come with a price.
It may not be yellow anymore, so some of the tabs are different colors and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So
Just say it on the tab, but
in discussions with Stacy, this is a cost that we've never processed in the past year. So we're not sure if it was something that was an indirect cost that was kind of broken up through IT or how that worked out. But so in order to get the software support that we need, that's what we're looking at for an expense.
Well, you have to have the software support when you need it. I don't see how we can not.
Correct.
It costs money, and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate it costs that much money, but we can't not have that.
Yeah, that's-
Because the first time you run into it,
which was this quarter.
Yeah. Now, is that something we change to put a line item in the budget so that it doesn't?
Yeah, because it's an
Yeah.
annual expense.
It's an annual expense, so.
Right, until we can fully transition all those meters over to
Right.
something new.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some more savings then we can get.
So,
All right.
so I don't know if you guys need to vote to approve that expenditure.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid of
3,700.
Core and Main in the amount of $3,700 to provide auto read software support for 1 year.
Second?
So voted.
Okay. The quarterly bills have been processed and per the tax collector today, those have gone out today as our planned date, which was great. So we'll see what kind of calls we feel from that. We've done really well. The office staff, Stacy and Laurie, have done a phenomenal job with the collections and processing of the bills. So, great job to them, and I thank them very much for that. Last thing that I have here is I just got an email received from the town administrator that he received from one of the members of the Board of Selectmen asking to meet with myself, the fire chief, and potentially one of the commissioners is available to attend to discuss fire hydrant schedules, maintenance, and details. This is stemming from the hydrant failure that happened on Lower Main Street with a recent fire. That was kind of a one-off incident. Just there was a lot connected to that hydrant, a lot of water coming out of it. It's at a very vulnerable spot at a busy intersection, so it sees there's a big puddle that forms here all the time. The hydrant always gets splashed with snow removal de-icing agents, so I think that had a large contributing factor to the overall, condition of that. And talked to the town administrator today and the fire chief the day of. That's nothing that we would have picked up as a part of our routine preventative maintenance. We do the maintenance stuff. We'll take the caps off, we'll grease the caps, put a hydrant flag on it if there's not one on it. We'll flow the hydrant at a low flow, shut it down, make sure it drains, and that's about the best we can do. Outside of that, without disassembling the hydrant, which just
Well, you can't do that every hydrant.
it's not cost beneficial enough to us.
Yeah.
I understand that the concern is public safety, and we do the best we can to maintain the hydrants.
When do they want to meet? When?
The dates they have available is Wednesday the 18th in the afternoon or Friday the 20th in the morning.
I'm gone on Friday the 20th, and I'm
Back in March, right?
Yes, this
month.
March 18th or March 20th.
Do you guys handle that?
If you're not available, you're not available.
I know I can't do the 18th. What time the 20th? I'm coming back. I'm flying back on the 20th.
Between 7 and 11.
I won't be back yet.
Wasn't there?
No, there's everybody else that's involved struck all the other.
18th is what time?
18th is 1 to 3.
I should be available then. And what was the other day?
7-11 on Friday.
Friday the 20th, between 7A and 11A. They say it should take 1 hour.
Either one will work.
Will work.
Will work. Either the
And-
18th or the 20th.
Right,
But it is.
I'll
Thank
respond
you,
to- I
bud.
told him I'd get back to the town administrator tomorrow,
I'll be in
and
Florida.
then I'll let you know, but
Yep.
where, when, and where.
If the weather sticks, I won't want to go to Florida for this.
The weather ain't gonna stay down.
No, I know that.
I was working my lawn today. So.
I think that the guys mitigated a leak today down the Nook. They did a fast turnaround. They were in and out of there before noontime, so we were short one guy that was out sick. Mitch is sick. He went home almost immediately following the
You
there,
guys
so
both coughing a lot.
Yeah, it's running around.
yeah.
Trust me, I don't want to be here.
So I told Stacy, I said, work remote if you want. I know you're going away next week. I don't want you sick, so
I actually feel fine. I don't have.
Just sounds.
I don't have
Oh, yeah.
fever. I don't have a runny. I'm gonna have a runny nose. I just have this like junk.
Yep.
Those are the ones I get.
I take a breath and it tickles and get a
Yeah.
cough. So we'll be flying light this week. A couple of guys out sick. That's about all that I have.
So next, the new business items, the abatements,
Yeah.
we already discussed those, didn't we?
No, these
No.
were to be discussed at the last meeting, but the last meeting got canceled with the budget, so
Yeah.
Karen, these are.
What's this furnace one?
Oh, I'm sorry, one other quick thing, Kristen, while I have you, down at Grassy Hole Treatment Plant, with the snow sliding off the solar panels, they came down and they did substantial damage to the conduits that go carry the electrical wiring to the solar panels. I don't know if we have any recourse with that still or not, but the conduit is, the elbows are smashed apart from snow and ice sliding off the roof.
All right, from that facility's over 10 years old now.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Grassy Hole Treatment Plant?
Oh, the grassy hole. All right, I thought you said Trackle Pond.
Did I? May have. No, I'm sorry, Grassy Hole Treatment Plant, the new treatment plant at Grassy Hole. I took pictures of it, I can send it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see what if there was a special warranty for that particular item. So like the general contract warranty is a year, but individual pieces of equipment can have extended warranty periods. So
Okay.
I'll have to look.
It didn't seem there was any water infiltration into any of the interior circuitry at the time when I investigated it, but if need be, we can take and try and mitigate it to some degree ourselves, or get in touch with North Star Electric that we utilize and see if he can do something to make it, safe and secure.
Yep. All right. I'll start with that.
Yes.
Abatements. You had information about this furnace thing going on?
Gene Coleman.
So in reading through her letter of facts that she typed up and sent to us, it would be my belief that the heat exchanger had failed on her hot water boiler, allowing water to escape through the heat exchanger into the combustion chamber, creating the steam that she was referencing outside and leaking onto the ground. That would be my interpretation of what she wrote. And she's looking for relief for the lost water that went onto the ground due to the failed heat exchanger on that.
How much is it?
It was a substantial amount.
Does that seem like $2,900 and anticipated bill $1,700
There was
from the previous?
113,000 gallons from the bill.
Is that reasonable that the boiler could have evaporated all that out?
Well, I mean, if you read the statement of facts that she presented, the amount of
She paid at the lowest rate, what would it be?
I mean, if you look at what she's used in the past,
Yeah.
somewhere around 20,000 gallons, and then jumped up to 47, then to 115.
Yeah. And that's where I was looking at some of we'll talk about the abatements later. We've always been just taking what the usage has been and applying to the lowest
That's what it would
rate.
be.
And that's what we've done in the past.
Instead of 37?
And I think if we do anything with that, we should do that now still. But that'd be some discussion about how other groups have done abatements, but.
So we're gonna talk about doing what we usually do, because we haven't got a new abatement policy
Yeah.
in place
I
yet.
would recommend we do as we've done in the past,
Yeah, I
Yep.
agree,
at the lowest possible rate.
I agree.
It definitely seems to be proof of
It's still gonna be
Fix.
expensive for her, but it'll be significantly
Yeah,
less
and
expensive.
we did go out and read the pipe, or read her meter, sorry, February 19th, and she had only used 3,000
So
gallons.
it's fixed, so it's
Okay.
fixed.
So,
issue was solved.
entertain a motion to do the usual.
Yeah, I move that we abate, the excess, the total gallons at the price for the least expensive.
Yeah, at the
Great.
list.
lowest
Okay.
rate.
There's a second,
Second.
and so voted. All right, 91 Main Street.
Okay, so this is the one that was the, vacant house. The
Mhm.
homeowners live in Texas. I think husband thought that the water was off at the street, but it wasn't off at all.
Mhm.
And pipes burst and froze. We noticed high excessive usage, and I called her actually. We sent her a letter too, but I called her first because it was excessive, and I knew the house was vacant. So she explained to me that they were in Texas. They had no idea. They immediately got a plumber out there to confirm the damage, and so they're looking for relief on that as well. Now, the storm, the blizzard kind of slowed their production down of getting services in there. So I have not heard from her since the end of February when
So you don't know that it's fixed?
I don't know
We
yet.
shut the water off at the street, the house is still
Right.
vacant.
No.
They did, right after we made contact with them, the house hadn't been plowed out at all. And they did say, she did get a
Yeah.
contractor there, opened the driveway up and got into the house and discovered what had happened in the house. Was significant damage in the interior from leaking pipes.
And I guess I'm inclined to agree to reduce it to the lowest rate once she presents evidence of the problem being fixed.
Yeah.
Because water shut off at the street.
Yeah,
If she
right.
pays the money, she pays that little bit of money, you turn it on again, you don't know what's gonna
Well,
happen.
she's not going to turn the
Yeah.
water
No.
on because
The-
Yeah.
it collapsed the upstairs.
The ceilings fell down.
Oh,
and
so
stuff.
this-
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like,
This is a building
I
that's
think
gonna.
the house is uninhabitable at the current
Yeah.
time due to the
Okay,
water damage and
okay,
stuff. So
okay.
It's
Yeah.
she's going through
I-
insurance.
When you
Then
look
never
at
mind.
usage
Okay.
of almost 700,000 gallons, it had to go somewhere, and if it went in the ceiling ain't there.
Yeah.
So I think we
Yeah.
forego the proof of fix because the fix
Yeah,
is gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
a long time coming.
If you're saying they're going through insurance, the insurance company is probably gonna
Totally.
cover the cost of the water that was lost too. Excuse me.
Oh, really?
Well,
Okay.
I don't
good
know.
to-
I mean, she hasn't done that. I don't know. She
Yeah.
said
That's up
I
to her.
am going to pursue insurance.
That's
but I
up to
haven't
her.
heard from her since.
Do you wanna maybe postpone? Because if the insurance company is gonna pay the full price, if we postpone a decision on this one until the insurance company steps up.
Yeah, but I don't, I think
I
it was
would-
fair, what's been fair and equitable to
Yeah,
everybody else.
yeah.
And You
Alright.
can't pick and
Yeah.
choose like that.
Okay, all right.
But I like your
I-
sneakiness.
I think it's, you get what's fair and equitable that you've done in the past practice.
Yeah,
Based on also that, it's gonna affect her premiums and her deductibles and everything else and the total cost of the loss, so.
Okay, then I'll move that we abate the cost to the least amount per gallon that we charge.
Yeah.
So same motion as.
Yep.
Yep. You have a second?
second.
So voted. All right.
Okay, now we get to the fun part. Now that you've done that, I don't have
Mhm.
any others to present to you. We really do need to talk about
The abatement.
a policy.
Yeah, because we're gonna get a bunch more with the new
Don't we
bills
get
that
to
are
choose
coming
the
in now.
courses
Yeah.
you're gonna go see next month? We get to choose the courses to go see? in
Those
the
are my
conference?
courses.
Those are your courses?
Yeah,
Okay,
but that's my schedule.
all right.
It's a full
Let's
agenda.
enjoy that. All right. Abatement stuff. So,
What I would ask is that by the next meeting, we have a draft that is similar to the policy in Duxbury.
Okay.
And you know what needs to be changed on that policy. So we look at the draft, and if we have to mark it up at the next meeting, we will, but we probably won't. And then we'll vote on it at the next meeting, because you're right, they're gonna be coming in.
The call is gonna start coming in.
yeah,
The week-
the only thing I'd say about Duxbury is that they have not eligible leaky toilet or plumbing fixtures, and that's a majority of the things we have.
Well, I would take that out because they're talking about
But that goes back to.
one-time abatement within a 5-year period.
Mhm.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
would take out a leaky toilet and faucet based on the fact that it's visible. You're seeing it every time you're there. You're hearing that.
It's a good point. That is
I
a
mean, you
good
guys
point.
do talk about homeowner responsibility.
That is a good point.
If you- if you-
You're right,
if you
you're
have
right. I
something in the
take back
wall,
what I said then.
If you
You're
have
right.
something in the wall because they put a picture on the wall and put a pinhole and it's running down and running outside, getting soaked into the ground, and all of a sudden they find it. Like, that's
Okay.
different. But it's, when something that you're seeing day to day,
You can hear it running. You can't sleep at
Well,
night.
not necessarily,
But
depending on
if
how
you-
much it's leaking.
if you get a faucet that's drip,
Yeah.
drip, drip, or a
Oh, yeah,
faucet,
right.
Mm.
You see it.
But if you got a drip in the toilet, you may not notice that in fact it's leaking.
I don't know, man. Depends, I guess it depends where the toilet
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
but
Well,
with 3 or 4 times since I've had my house, the float doesn't go right in the water will come up and then it'll come up a little bit more and then you'll hear it run. And whenever I hear it run, I know there's something wrong, because there's nobody in the bathroom. So you can go and fix it.
So I think you gotta, things that are blatant and obvious.
Yeah.
You can't.
So that's gotta be on them.
That's, if you're not
Be
gonna fix your
responsible
leaky
homeowner.
shower, because, you don't think you get in the shower,
So
but
leave it in there, and then we can be the judge if there's something that is specific about that case that makes it eligible.
sure.
You want, nothing should be arbitrary.
Mhm.
It is either a reason for an abatement or it's not. It shouldn't be, you
We
think
say
it
leaky
should be.
toilet plumbing fixtures that are
I
of an
don't-
obvious nature, or no,
What's obvious to you, I mean, if you're
Yeah.
obvious
Yeah.
to the other person.
Yeah,
And I like the requirement to apply for an abatement, because you gotta pay everything. Now you apply for an abatement. And if you're complaining about a major issue, then you pay what you paid last year at that time. And then you.
how much water you used last year at that
Right,
time,
yeah.
not what you paid.
Yeah, oh, that's what I meant. That's what I
So,
meant.
so basically, we're gonna keep in the leaky toilet plumbing fixtures aren't eligible.
Mhm.
Keep that there, okay. And then you just brought up the rate thing. So we've been lowering it to the minimum rate, or do we do the average use from the previous year? Which, because that's different. This is right now different than what we're doing now. We just do the lowest rate.
Okay, is that easy enough for you to figure out?
You can see it right in the history where it's at.
Yeah,
But they
so
just
you're
get that
saying-
bill
you're
as
saying go
opposed
back,
to,
So if they had a question about their March bill, I would go back to the previous March bill.
and that's what they would pay as opposed to,
But what if they weren't the owners, the previous March?
Yeah, that's.
People use different.
I like the,
Use water differently.
yeah, I like bring it down to the lowest rate we charge as opposed to their average bill in the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the water was used.
Yeah.
It's the amount of water they use, not what the bill
Yeah.
is.
And the
Yeah.
water's been used and treated. And
You could have a house that was vacant or under
Yeah.
construction, didn't exist that time.
So in
Yeah,
the,
okay.
yeah, so distributed charges
Keep
paid.
it with
not
that
equal
current
to-
policy.
So we need to change that second bullet in the Duxbury one to our language we have for the
Charge the lowest.
usage at the lowest rate.
Yeah.
All right.
It was kind of interesting to read what other towns don't do.
Oh, yeah, I know.
More than what they
Man.
do.
What was it here? Halifax? Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Halifax, the superintendent is a former.
All right, that's enough.
I didn't say anything.
All right. So I like the timeline was good, 30 days. That's currently what we have as well. Right, from the bill date.
Yep.
And then we have the proof of fix. That was all good. And then I don't know if we need to have an excess of 5,000 for approval. What we're doing these already anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
All abatements should be made by the board. I'm not taking Chris out of it or the superintendent out of it.
No,
Yeah.
the only abatements traditionally that have not gone before you are clerical errors that we make here with
Yeah.
read meters.
You don't make any errors.
Well,
As long as you fix them, they're not errors.
I was gonna say, I don't, but I think I just did.
Oh, wait till I say something tomorrow.
I caught it, I fixed it.
The computer transposed the information correctly.
Yeah.
Some towns had financial hardship abatements or just deployment abatements.
That would be go to the selectmen for,
No.
no,
so we
not
don't
for
do
water
that.
abatement. They would go to the
Financial assistance.
financial assistance,
That's a
not
separate- we
for
don't-
anything to do with water,
Right.
sewer.
We don't want to deal with any of that. I
No.
agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then I think I'm good with Duxbury with those changes.
Okay,
Noted.
so I'll draft something up for that and then water conservation.
All right. Seeing nothing else on there.
Move to adjourn?
You all set with everything, Stacy, then?
Yeah, our next meeting, just to confirm, is March 24th at 4 p.m.
Yep. I will be tanned when I come back. It's 105 in Phoenix. I'll be there next weekend for golfing, so that'll be good.
Well, that's
Yep.
why I'm going to Florida next week, because it's between meeting weeks.
I am too. All right, yeah, so that's it.
I move to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
See you later. Thank you all.
Thank you.